Okay, so fats aren't also bad, but there's some that might be better than others, and there's different types of fats. So, and I get confused: saturated, unsaturated, poly, mono, trans fat. I can't keep them straight. So let's start with saturated fat. What is a saturated fat?
Sure. Yeah. So to be clear, there's saturated, monounsaturated, and then polyunsaturated. And then trans, of course, is what man-made. Right. And we'll get to that last. But saturated fats come from animal products, typically. Okay. But there are some plant sources like coconut oil and palm oil. So, we can get saturated oil from fats. So we need to think about, they have a chemical structure. So we're going to just lay it out. And they're known as fatty acid chains. So saturated fats, just like coconut oil is solid at room temperature, it's a stiff chain. It's got no double bonds. So that's a little bit about, what types of fats. Animal fats, beef, pork, poultry, skin, and then, of course, all the fat that's in dairy, full-fat milk, full-fat yogurt. So those are all saturated fats.
Awesome. Now, do I need to be worried about how much I'm taking in? Can I get too much? Is there a minimum I want to have? What do I do about trying to monitor that?
Right. Well, I will keep it brief because that really is almost like a program in and of itself. It is. But the bottom line is when it comes to fats and saturated fats and how much we want to have, we really should test and not guess how much we need. Okay.
Test and not guess. I like that. I've never heard that before. Right? We just throw something at it.
Right.
And we don't even know if you're deficient or over.
And look, like, for example, my husband and I have totally different genetic patterns, which is what it's based on. Okay. And I have a line of genes that we all have low cholesterol. Okay. So I can eat as much saturated fat and butter as I want, and nothing's going to happen to my cholesterol. I've even had heart studies done. I've got no blockage. Okay. So I'm clean. My husband, on the other hand, didn't get so lucky with his genes. He's got familial high cholesterol. Okay. And so people, frankly, that have that genetic predisposition, if they eat too much, I'm not saying like a pat of butter on their toast, but if they eat too much saturated fat all day, then that will tell their liver to make more LDL cholesterol. And that could, come back to hurt them heart health-wise.
Okay. And LDL cholesterol is the bad cholesterol.
It is the bad cholesterol. Right. But again, that's complex. And not just because you have high cholesterol doesn't mean you have heart disease. Right. I mean, not everybody gets plaque. Again, test, don't guess.
Right.
Yes.
And now that's going to be a whole nother episode, cholesterol, but there's different LDLs because some aren't so bad, and there's a small and a large particle and things like that. So to just blanketly say LDLs are all bad is not true then.
So this likewise, saturated fat, there's camps that say, oh, saturated fats are not bad. And they're not bad. For some people, they can eat a moderate amount. Other people, they don't have to be so careful. So, you have to know your genetic predisposition and your test. What does your cholesterol profile look like?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So then the next we
saturated.
go to, all right, good.
Yeah.
So now in that animal category, because this gets a lot of press lately, is tallow.
Right, yes.
So is tallow okay to use?
I mean, it's a saturated fat, so if you choose to use it, I had a neighbor who boils beef bones and extracts tallow, and she gave me some tallow to use. So I hadn't used it. Experimenting.
I see a commercial on TV lately for a gal it's for a face cream. They're using it for face creams. But we use it for cooking, like instead of putting oil in the skillet or butter in the skillet, we'll put a little tallow in there. We haven't quite figured out the substitution to use it to make cookies or something like that.
Right.
But I know people do that too.
They absolutely do.
So just think of it, another animal fat.
Yes, like butter.
Saturated. Like
butter. Think of tallow like butter.
All right, awesome. So then the next was the monosaturated.
Right.
And what are some sources of monosaturated is a different chain and different.
Right.
You don't want to overwhelm people with too much science.
No, I know. But just briefly, monounsaturated are the darlings. They are avocado and olive oil.
Okay.
Good. Kind of easy.
Right. So olive oil, I've heard someone say it's the golden child of all the oils.
Yes.
But I'm sure in moderation, of course. But is it all good, or can olive oil have some bad aspect to it?
Well, olive oil And what it's made of has no bad aspects. Like so far, we have not found that olive oil is bad in any way. I think like anything else, as you well imagine, too much of any good thing is not good. And we have to remember that fats themselves are calorically dense. 9 calories in 1 gram of fat, and there's only 4 calories in 1 gram of protein and carbohydrate. So it's more than twice the calories that our carbs and our proteins are. So we have to eat a little bit, goes a long way.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah.
So, and I also imagine it has a lot to do with how it's processed, how it's grown, how it's harvested, how it's processed, because that can take something that's not too bad for you and make it so it's not as good for you. Now, what about olive oil and extra virgin olive oil? Is one better than the other?
Right. So, extra virgin olive oil is better for us.
Okay.
So we can choose that. And I think the main thing with olive oil is you want to use it at low heat. Right. So we're talking, really low heat.
Well, what's low heat? 300? I mean, can you fry a steak
No, you
in
should
it?
not fry anything in it. Just a really low saute where it's not sizzling a whole lot.
Okay, I gotcha. So then you talk. I hear people talk about avocado oil being better for the high heat point.
Correct. It's got the high heat point, so you can fry.
Okay.
High heat cooking. Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you a question. I brought this up in another episode. Avocado oil.
Yes.
It's got a seed in it. So is that a seed oil?
Right. You would think it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one. So it's not, because both avocado oil and olives are made from the flesh of the olive or the avocado, not the seed, because, as you know, olives have a pit, a seed.
Right.
So those pits are not involved in making avocado oil.
Oh my gosh, I light this one off. The seed oils are made from the seed.
The actual seed.
Oh my gosh, I feel like a fool.
No.
Right. So olive oils are not made from the pit, the seed. Avocado oils are not made from the seed. It's made from the flesh of the plant.
If you thought about it, somebody else is wondering about it.
Sure,
so
right?
I'm so glad you brought that up.
That's awesome.
It's not the pit.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if there's any brands or types that you may have a preference for, or I know probably organic and how they're processed. But on our website and a link, we're going to have a list of some brands that Nora said are better than others and that you would recommend.